Hello, everyone. For lesson 6, we are going to be learning about the software RUSLE2. Now, this is an important software in that it is referenced in the California Construction General Permit in several places. First off, we see it as an option for determining site stabilization. So there's three different methods that are allowed. You can either use the 70% uh, stabilization, which is basically backed by photos, or you can use Russell 2 or a custom method. And so Russell 2 can be used to show that you have obtained site stabilization after construction. It also shows up in the new construction general permit under the new BMP category vegetative buffer, in that a 50-foot wide vegetative buffer is allowed if you are adjacent to a water body. Now, if you have to go with something less than 50 feet, you're allowed to apply BMPs, but you have to use Russell 2 to quantify that you have the same degree of protection that you would with a 50-foot vegetative buffer. And then we also see Russell 2 show up in several of the TMDLs. And it's a requirement, especially for sediment and turbidity TMDLs, where you use Russell 2 as well. So um, you're going to need to familiarize yourself with this software and learn how to use it for certain applications with the construction general permit and with SWIP writing. Now, here's the thing. It's not an intuitive software. It takes a lot to actually get your arms around this and understand it. It's not a difficult software once you've um, been shown some tips, and that's what we're hoping to do here. But trying to pick this up on your own and learn it can be a little bit time consuming. So hopefully we can streamline that for you. Now, in the connections course, lesson 6, you'll find under additional student resources some files, and we want you to download those to your computer. One of them is going to be the program file, and it's the Caltrans Russell 2 0302 2012. So it's right here in this folder here. You're going to want to download probably a zip version of that folder to your computer and extract the files, unzip it basically. Now you will notice that it's the 2012, and yes, there is a more up-to-date version of Russell out there. Actually, I think there's 2 or 3 iterations since 2012. But you know what? We have not had good success with making those newer versions run with some of the databases that we need to use here in California for construction sites, which have been predominantly um, developed by, yeah, Caltrans. And so you'll want to find that folder along with the other folder that you'll want to download is the California Russell 2 import. So download those to your computer. We're going to be using both of those in this tutorial on how to upload the software to your computer so that you're all ready for our class demonstration and also your homework assignment. So go to the Caltrans Russell 2 0302 2012 folder first, open it up, and oh boy, wouldn't it be nice if they just had a button said click here to upload the software? They don't. So what you need to know is go to the folder called binaries, open that up, and you will see right here the Russell 2 file. Now you don't want any of the ones that say DLL at the end. You want that Russell 2 file. That's your program file. And so you can click on that, double click on that, and it should bring it up to our screen here. There we go. And there'll be an intro box right here, introduction. Now, what we would like you to do, and you'll find it um, advantageous to click on the Caltrans Basic Complex Slope. It's already defaulted there. So if you hit OK, that would be good. So hit OK. And what that's going to do, oh, and then we got to do one more thing here. is we have to hit the default right here. That's the only file in that folder. So hit the default and hit open. And as I was going to say, what this is doing is basically creating a template for RUSLE2 that makes it kind of specific to construction. And it's going to be actually working in the background. Here in the info box, you can see can't use a worksheet to start a worksheet for your site. And so what we're going to do is just minimize this, let this just run in the background. Now for the rest of this part one video on how to set up Russell, what we're going to be doing is bringing in a couple databases to make it specific to California and specific to construction. So what you'll want to do is go up to the menu up at the top, upper left-hand corner. You'll see the database option. Oh, click on that. Go down almost to the bottom, import RUSLE2 database. Click on that, and it's going to bring up a box. Now, depending where you put your files that we just mentioned that you needed to download from our additional class resources, uh, you should have a folder somewhere where you placed it on your computer called California RUSLE2 Imports. And there's two files in there that we're going to be uploading. So let's do the first one, climate. Let's do that one first. So we'll click on that, select it, and we'll say open. And what it's going to do is say, all right, where do you want to put these files? Now, these are just climate files, but let's open that up. We don't want to download all of the USA. It'll take forever. In fact, we don't even want to download all of California. You can if you want, but I would recommend you just do the area that we're going to be looking at. And for our class, we're going to do San Joaquin County because that's where I'm from. But you can select that. Of course, if you want to select some other box where you're from, go ahead and select other boxes as well too. Just realize the more you select, the longer it's going to take. But if you select 2 or 3, it's not going to take that long. And then what we're going to do is down below include dependent files. I don't know if it's all that important to select that, but we're going to. And then hit import. And it comes up with this warning box just saying you're importing files that you're not going to be able to edit after importing. That's fine. For our purposes, not a big deal. We're going to hit OK. All right, and now it's downloading them. It's going to go pretty quick because we only selected San Joaquin counties. There's only 10 files, and there we are. We hit OK, and it says the import is finished. All right, so that was the easy part. Now we're going to do something that takes a little bit more effort, and we're going to go to database and import RUSLE2 database, and you guessed it, we're going to do that other file, that Caltrans Moses 0210 2012 .gdb file. What is that? Well, basically that is something Caltrans created that's bringing in to RUSLE2 the information needed to apply it for a construction site. You see, RUSLE2 was originally developed by the United States Department of Agriculture and the Natural Resource Conservation Service and several universities to be a tool for farmers, basically for soil conservation efforts to know, okay, if I manage my field in a certain way, am I going to get a certain amount of soil loss? Or if I do something else, will I reduce the soil loss? So it was really for soil conservation and still is used extensively for that. Um, it's kind of a relative newcomer to the construction industry. In fact, unfortunately, there was a lot done early, 2012, but not so much since then. I'm hoping that in the next few years we'll see some improvements here. I have played with the newer versions, as I mentioned earlier, and they just do not communicate well with the information that Caltrans created in 2012. Staying with the 2012 seems to work the best and has the less headaches and bugs with it. So we're going to select that, hit open, and it's going to bring up the files like we saw. Now in this case, most of those folders are going to have files that are going to be added to them. So we're going to just select up at the top right here, select that so that they're all checked. And like we did before, include dependent files. Yes, we're going to say all. And then we're going to hit import and we'll get a similar box that we saw before saying we can't edit them after importing. We'll hit OK. And here we go. So it's going to start downloading them. Now this is going to take a few minutes, depending on your computer, maybe even longer. Let it just work through it. And what I'm going to do is we'll pause the video. You can pause it. Let it, if you're following through, let it work through it. And after it's completed a little bit, we'll restart. Okay, so go ahead and pause if you want and catch up with us. Okay, maybe three-quarters of the way through this process of uploading this Caltrans database, you'll come to a box asking the following question: replace object managements slash local slash straw mulch 4,000 pounds per acre test 2 with object. Now, it looks like there's going to be several of these types of replacements. Um, I have found it best just to say yes to all. It seems to work fine. So go ahead and hit yes to all. And what it will do is then continue on with the processing. And when it's all done, we'll see a message pop up. All right. So we got that message box saying that all 5,254 items successfully imported, and that's great. And so we're going to acknowledge that, and it will do a consistency check real quick, as you can see it working on the screen right here. This one will go real quick, and we should get a text box here in a moment saying that everything imported just fine. So let's see. There we go. The import is finished. So go ahead and acknowledge that. And we'll stop the video here and we'll come back with another video that will talk about the rest of the setup. And uh, uh, catch up with where we're at right now and then watch this second video.